Other way. Just go. Good grief. I'm having a grab this. Grab my which is no, turn off. Stupid. Alright. It Seven feet tall. No, you can't teach that. He is. Uh, Big Bill's name is still. It's like I went to the AEW roster to see if his name was off there. They updated the roster. It's so different now. But yeah, he's still on there, so he'll be off of there by August 3rd probably. Oh, good for him. Good for Big Cats going back to a place that didn't give a crap about him. I mean, he kind of sunk himself in AEW when he gave Eddie Kingston didn't give him a good match on his return, which is not Bill's fault at all. I mean, it was Eddie's first match back. Dude, look at Zach. Look at Matt Cardona. Dude's been back how long? He's in the same exact position he was before he got fired 5-6 years ago. Who else has come back recently? Baron Corbin will be in the same exact position he was before he left. Bringing back guys. Same thing could have been said about Aleister Black. What happened to him? He came back for a year and is now out of the company. They did nothing with him. Like, unless there is an actual bona fide megastar that WWE could bring back who's not with the company right now, WWE has never had a chance. I'm sorry, who? Like, bringing back people who never really, oh, well, they never got a chance under the old regime, and then gonna get a chance. Did you watch Aleister Black for that entire year that he was here? He was back in WWE. He came back. He had a 6-month feud with Damian Priest that didn't help either person, and him and his wife were out of the company. Oh, the Ascension. Yeah, that team you knew was in trouble and wasn't going to last when they were a heel team being buried on commentary by the heel commentator JBL. That's when you know something is wrong. The Ascension, yeah, Connor and Victor. When they come up, they're doing the same thing they were doing in NXT. Whereas in NXT, they were being chastised and like by the baby faces, and the heel was like, "Oh, this is great. They're one of the most dominant teams." They come up, and the heel is burying them on Michael Cole's, on their side, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Oh, so JBL can come up and have Farouk come out, and then they can have the DX and the APA destroy them. The problem with Deuce and Domino is they were 10, 15 years too late. And then when Sim Snuka, who was Deuce, went on to do his thing with the Legacy before he got fired, Domino wanted to be like this rough, tough, like he wanted to, like he had like a chainsaw and he cut up one of those like cardboard those cutouts of Dave Batista, and he was like smoking cigarettes, and I was like, dude, you're like 20, you're like 5 years, 6 years too late. That would have worked in the Attitude Era, but not in the Expression. WWE was coming back on that stuff. Yep. Yeah, I still don't know what he was thinking there. That was stupid. Like he knew it was a bad idea, so much so when he was like TNA's like the TNA guys were like, we promise we won't put you on screen, we won't mention you or anything. Like, dude, this was when TNA was desperate for WWE's attention. They were screaming out for WWE's attention. This was not too long, I'm pretty sure, after they had the whole like WWE did it was filming in Universal Studios or down in Florida near TNA when TNA was running a taping. TNA is like Abyss and others ran out wanted to try to um like meet them, hang out with them. Abyss had a balloon and cookies, something like that. Like, nah, like he knew it was gonna happen. And it like came out later. He was like, "Oh, I want this because I wanted to try and get fired because I wasn't happy with my position." Yeah, sure, sure. Like, I'm sure WWE doesn't. Like, I'm sure even then WWE didn't care if you went to go visit friends as long as you stayed backstage. That's just like that. Like him showing up on TNA was like Britt Baker showing up on an NXT show on in the crowd because WWE showed her, and apparently they apologized. Triple H apologized backstage. I didn't mean for that to happen. It's like, come on, please, please, you did. Champions could leave companies. Yeah, true, true. I mean, that's why you have them locked up for guaranteed contracts now. Yeah, the whole. I'm afraid my kid, like, yeah, well, Bret Hart was one of the last few to not have like that whole. That was dumb. Like that whole situation was Vince's fault. It was absolutely Vince's fault. First off, you didn't need to give Bret Hart a 20-year contract when you knew very well that at the time that you had him sign that contract, you were in financial issue, and more than likely weren't gonna be able to pay that contract. And no, I don't think Bret, even if Bret was able to be there for his 20-year contract, he would have been able to do the entire 20-year contract. He would have been wrestling for all 20. It would have been he would have been done wrestling probably in the mid 2000s. He would just, you know, yeah, like the 2010s, he would be a backstage producer, you know, suit and tie, running out there, trying to stop people from each other up, that kind of stuff. but wrestling. Unless you were at a house show, he wasn't wrestling. He wasn't actually wrestling. He wasn't allowed to wrestle on TV, like wrestle on TV. He had to put on. They had to be funky, dumb matches. Like, oh, I hit you once, put you in a sharpshooter, you top out automatically. No, couldn't do that. On the house shows where his insurance policy didn't matter, he could actually wrestle and show you why he was still one of the best. Oh, these Lords of London or whatever. He never, never. You for the king. You go marry one of the king's daughters, and then you can become the next next king in line. Did you even have any kids? You can make the bed. You can do whatever you want. You know. Oh, well, cool. My mouth, but it's got like a very thin. No, that'd be Those WWE ice cream bars even ever actually good. Okay, make sure that nah. Anyway. Power Rangers YouTube on how it shows live streams. Junkie Carry Mega Force is Mega Force. Pretty sure they've showed other ones too, but yeah, like apparently who is the Goku Shop Factory lost the rights to the Power Rangers, not the Power Rangers, but the Sentai license. So like the Sentai shows that they had from like Jetman to uh, Hurricane Joe are not available to watch anymore. Like if you like, they had DVDs and everything of them, but Hasbro needs to be stopped, man. They should not be allowed to just hold Power Rangers hostage. They don't even work with them anymore. Why should they be allowed to hold? Why should Hasbro be allowed to hold Power Rangers like the Sentai license? They don't even work. Like they split Sentai from them. So why should they be allowed to do that? It's stupid. Of course they don't. They didn't even want the license. This is the thing about the whole Power Rangers thing. They like Hasbro as a whole did not want the license Power Rangers Super Sentai because they come together. They're a package and it shouldn't be anymore. So the person who brokered the deal with Saban and Nickelodeon died before the deal was completely finished, or before the deal could be done, could be seen through. So the person who pitched Power Rangers, this is what I heard. Apparently, the person who pitched to Hasbro to get Power Rangers and stuff didn't get to actually do anything with it, and by the time Hasbro got it, they didn't have anybody there who wanted it anymore, and they're like, ah, shoot, we'll just have it. But because even though they killed the moneymaker, Power Rangers was so easy to do. Well, now that Sentai's done itself, which probably had to do a lot with Hasbro like not using them anymore. But like, it was real simple. You go to Japan, you get the footage and the suits and the props. Like, you don't have to make any of it yourself. You don't have to make the suits. You don't have to make the props. You don't have to make any of the monsters. You just get it from them, and you splice in your footage for your American footage. It's probably very cost effective, and obviously now. Yeah. Well, them trying to drag out the Mighty Morphin and use the Zero Ranger suits for 3 seasons was stupid. It should have really been 1 and that was it. Yeah, they waited too long for that. Obviously, Power Rangers was very popular and was like it never got any more popular than it did back in from Mighty Morphin season 2. Like from Kaku Ranger on is when they really should have started replacing everybody. Like if they wanted to, and they could have done this for the entire Zordon era instead of just like straight up replacing everybody in Turbo. Like, you replace the entire cast from the start. Yeah, adding the White Ranger sucked because he wasn't part of the group. Like, and then another thing that I wish they would have did, and like when they had Zed come in and they did the whole like he had his own evil team of Rangers, and instead of them being like good suits, they were like these awfully painted suits that looked like someone took this like one suit and like copied it up and then sprayed them down. It looked so terrible. They literally could have used the Die Ranger suits. That could have had it could have they could have did a Die Rangers versus a Die Ranger versus Mighty Morphin like versus Zero Ranger type of battle. And like after they saved the evil Rangers, you could have had a whole 2-part special where you had the Die Ranger suits versus the Zero Ranger suits in episode 1. The Rangers that are being controlled by Zed. And by the end of the second episode, you have yourself a team up. You have the new Rangers, and then you have those guys, and then the Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers could have moved on and like passed their powers on to the Die Ranger characters, and you could have went from there. But no, we gotta just keep dragging out this. We have to get new footage made because they were done. By the time the White Ranger came around, there was no more footage from the Ranger, obviously. Like, all that footage that they had was new footage. All of it. Like, they had Toei, like, shoot new footage with those suits because they were already done with it. And the only kids at 16, 17 could be Rangers, then you could have seen these characters there. Yeah, depending on the dumbest thing that gets so freaking annoying is the tagline. We're teenagers with attitude. The power like outside of 1 to maybe 3 seasons of Super Sentai, They weren't ever kids. They weren't ever teenagers. Like, Mega Ranger, they were teenagers because they were in school. It was the only time that Power Rangers and Sentai both were kids in school. Turbo Ranger, I think they were teachers. No, I'm sorry, no. Turbo Ranger, they were also students. They were also students. Um, that was one of my most annoying things about the whole thing was that every single year for Power Rangers, they had to have a bunch of 20-year-olds pretend to be 16, 17-year-olds. Instead of being like, oh, these are not teenagers with attitude. They were never teenagers. They were never teenagers in Sentai except for like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, it's so stupid. That's stupid. After the kids left school, they had great jobs, relationship, etc., and they still kept their 17-year-old characters. That's like the Stranger Things thing where you have like the show started out with everyone with kids. They were pre, and by the time season 5 came around, they were all young adults pretending to be preteens, like teenagers. It's like, that's just stupid. Not a sword. Kid has a job as a detective, but due to being jokes and a friend, he does goofy things. There you go. It's
And you just shine already, you stupid rat. And no, I don't want Pidgey. Knowing my luck, it'll be a Pidgey. The higher chance it could be a Pidgey than there would have been for the last one, the Doug Trio. 99, like 1% or something like that, or 95.5. This is 50-50. Power Rangers topic, I'll always remember after leaving the series in 2001 with Turbo, I was nicely released like channels and catching up episode of one of the series. Yeah. I mean, he aged gracefully. He wasn't, he definitely, I don't know what he's trying to do with that hair of his, like the way he had his hair done and everything just didn't work. That was just like, what is he doing? That had the absolute, and the thing about, like, they made Aber Ranger work, where Aber Ranger was absolutely just god awful. Like, yeah, the spiky hair. Like, who told him that was a good idea? And the reason he had to, like, if you watched the whole season and you saw the whole like episodes where like he was stuck in his mind or something, he had to fight the three versions of the previous version of himself, and they like gave him a part of his black stone, his black emerald or whatever, the Dino crystal, was because in reality Tommy, like, Stephen Frake had to go back to America, get his visa renewed so he could keep working, because at that time and up until the end of the current Power Rangers they've done, from the end of Wild Force to the end of the series, they was filming in New Zealand, and that's something. Like, that's why everyone was New Zealand. Like, all the main characters were like from the wow. I was doing the same. I don't remember what it was. I'm pretty sure I was flipping through the channel one day and like I saw an advertisement for Power Rangers coming up, and I'm like, "That's Tommy. What's Tommy doing there?" Like, I didn't watch Power Rangers in years, man. It was just like, yeah, there's Tommy. There's just Tommy in wearing in black showing up. Obviously, this was like the opening. It wasn't like the series hadn't started just yet. It was like a week or so before that, and so I don't think that's true. I mean, you're always gonna have somebody who's gonna be like an overpopular character. He literally could have been like, at least in one of the series, he could have been like a mentor to, like, I mean, he was, I guess you can say that, in Dino Thunder. He was like the mentor to the three, but he also became a ranger. But he could have been like the old man, like, guy. I mean, he worked in Dino Thunder. He wasn't the main focus. The main three were the main focus. Did like ranger up, like, morph every once in a while, but it was mostly, for the most part, a focus of the main three rangers, and eventually the White Ranger as well.
I mean, he was just a mentor like Oscar was to the Aberrangers. The only thing that we missed out on, and it is kind of dumb, is that in Aberranger there was no Pink Ranger, but the eventual wife of Aber Blue, um, Aber Blue, uh, she made her own suit, which had the it was like a pink suit. It had an helmet, and it was like a pig or something, which was so funny in Gokaiger when they did the whole like change into Aberranger, and like she knew that there wasn't a Pink Ranger in Aberranger, but still gave her a thing, and it was just so funny. Like he turned the key, and she got the suit and everything, the helmet. She like takes the helmet off and just feels so embarrassed. It was so funny. But like, yeah. Billy being back in the Billy always looked like an older dude. I don't know what that was all about. Like, yeah, he was in his 20s, obviously, but he always looked like an older dude. I, I, I guess I can get why in the watching the episode where Zed has his $5 Rangers his abilities face. Like those could have been the Die Rangers. That was they had the footage. They could use the footage for Die Rangers. They could have did something. They could have had access to the suits. They literally could have. That could have been the time that it was like, oh, okay, here's the Die Rangers. You could have Tommy stay as the White Ranger if you wanted to. Here's the Die Ranger suits. Let's have them have a thing. We do a 2-minute, 2-part team up episode, and then the original suit Rangers leave, replaced with the new Rangers, and boom, you got something. You got a continuation, and you change the suits. And it could have been an easy transition instead of like, oh no, we're just gonna keep going on. Here's these stupid. Saban was not a good dude, like at all. Not a good dude at all. Saban is such a piece of work that somebody was making a video game based off of the Super Sentai series. Saban got wind of it, sent them a cease and desist, and told them, unless you put in the title inspired by Saban's Power Rangers, we will sue you into oblivion. So the person's entire work, which was not inspired by Power Rangers, but was inspired, Saban is so freaking delusional about himself. He pretends like Super Sentai copied him, and he didn't copy Super Sentai. He is that freaking delusional, as if he believes he's the one that invented Power Rangers and Super Sentai came second. He's that delusional with himself. The kids could have been much more. Yes, the whole thing could have been so much more. The suits were bad. The whole bully thing, like, I get it. You could have had redeemable, like, you could have had him redeem and everything, and they take over the Power Rangers. Like after, like they could have had a battle, like the Power Rangers, like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, powers. They, after the battle with like after the team up battle, their powers disappear, or the like something happens, and the Die Ranger suits, which they could have been the Die Ranger suits, would be the ones that take over from there. But no, let's stick with this. That too could have been something. Like, there was so much that they like. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers doesn't really hold up today. With like just, it's not as good as everyone remembers it. It it definitely should have been a one season thing, and then they move on to someone else. Yeah, yeah, they could have. There's just so much wrong with Power Rangers. Like, it's clear that they tried so hard to just like the biggest thing that like makes Power Rangers is good is that they do follow like some of them, not all of them, but most like some of the series themselves follow almost to the letter what Sentai did. Just tweak it here and there for American audiences. But um, when they try to do their own thing, it doesn't. It just doesn't work out too well. And then like when you don't have any more footage and no more story, and I mean Mighty Morphin Power Rangers didn't follow Zero Ranger like at all. They really did their own thing. Like Time Force, Wild Force, they like followed to the letter, uh, because they had to. Like Time Force really had to. You really couldn't do anything else. Same thing with Wild Force. Yeah, and the fact that they're doing, somebody's doing something like I know Hasbro or whoever with Netflix or whatever wants to do a reboot and wants to start with Mighty Morphin. Why? Don't even do anything like that. Just shows you how lazy they are because they just want to use the Sentai suits because they saw like everyone saw how bad the Cosmic Fury suits were and realized, oh yeah, we suck over here. We don't know how to make good suits, so let's just use those ones again from 30 plus years ago. And I still can't believe Sentai didn't get to one more season before they decided to end it. I mean, they could have did a quick they could have did a half season just so you could have 50 Sentai season. No, we're gonna do Space Gavin Infinity where everybody's a Gavin. I mean, a lot of kids in our age group were obsessed with Power Rangers 1.5, or 6, 7, because that's when it was out. Kids nowadays don't give a crap about Power Rangers, and nobody, like most kids nowadays, weren't looking like. There are so many other things that you can do over here that like Power Rangers just no, they weren't working. Like you need to make Power Rangers an adult show. No more like catering to kids. The only people who care about Power Rangers are in our age group. Like you don't have to make it for kids. You can literally do a darker version and like a more adult oriented version because kids don't care anymore. No kid in 2026 is gonna care about the Dino Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger suits. Not a single one of them. The only people gonna care are like in their 30s and 40s. So why are we doing a reboot like that? Because nobody cares. Pop. I remember when TNA was on the American version of Pop, and like people were like, Pop, what is that? That was back when I attempted to try and get TNA to watch TNA shows, but it just Impact. I'm sorry, they were Impact Wrestling at the time, but it was just like, that's too much of a hassle. That's before I do what I do now, how I do things now. Like I don't even have even if I was making money, I'm not paying for no gosh darn cable package. I just do what I always do. Like the whole World Cup, I am watching that on cable. I'm watching it on my laptop on a I feel totally spies and stuff. I can't remember what Pop over here had besides TNA Impact or Impact Wrestling. Oh. Yeah, I don't remember what it has. Like, I never watched it. But, like, yeah, that's one of those obscure channels, like, what? I watch mostly YouTube, even if, like, I just mostly watch YouTube because why would I watch, like, unless I'm watching the World Cup, I'm watching wrestling. Like, of course not. Like, if I'm watching, unless I'm watching, like, the World Cup, which I'm watching today, will be the 2. We got about a few hours till we got to get ready for Spain versus France. Gonna be a fun one. Or I'm watching wrestling, like I'm watching the World Cup tomorrow and Dynamite. It's like I don't watch TV because YouTube, I can watch, like, the YouTube is more entertaining than most of the stuff you find on TV. Or I'm watching anime, which is from Japan. Or I'm watching, that's from Tio, or Omega Hunter looks so weird. I'll give it a few episodes. I dropped Space Sheriff Gavin Infinity because it was when you make an ant a Gavin. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not watching this. I'm gonna not take this seriously at all. We're gonna try and be goofy as can be. As much as being an adult show would be a similar situation with Doctor Who. I mean, of course. But the only people who care about that stuff over here are in our age group. If you go on YouTube and you find content creators who do anything when it comes to Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, or any other tokusatsu series, they're our age. They're our age. Maybe a year or two younger, maybe a year or two older. They're our age. So, I don't see why. Like, nobody in the young age, nobody in the, like, who's, like, not in the late 20s, early 30s, maybe in their 30s, care about Super Sentai, or Kamen Rider, or Space Sheriff Gavin, or the Metal Hero series, or this new Omega Horn, which again I'm going to give about it gets 5 episodes out of me. If it doesn't do well by the 5th episode, I'm out. Those suits. I wonder how many people stopped watching Power Rangers after that episode. Because those were. I will say though, I don't know who made the Spirit Rangers in the Geki Ranger US version, which was call that over here. Jungle Fury, yeah. Who made the Spirit Rangers? Because those were exclusive to Jungle Fury. The actual suits themselves, they went, oh, you know what? Let's just make them like the Ranger suits that are in the show. That person should have been the person working for whoever made the Cosmic Fury Rangers. Because those were like great suits that, again, only like the characters were part of Geki Ranger, but the suits not. It's so silly. And yeah, I wonder how many people stopped watching Power Rangers after that episode. Wonder how many people stopped watching Power Rangers after the movie came out. And then it played no role in the actual TV show itself. Like, also the fact that that movie does not hold up. And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was taped in Los Angeles. All the like they didn't go to New Zealand until Wild Force. The second half of Wild Force when Disney got the when Disney bought it from Saban the first time when they like that they moved all of it to New Zealand. But I think the back half of Wild Force, so it could have been like yeah. If you're watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that was taped in Los Angeles. If you're watching Dino Thunder, that was taped in filmed in New Zealand. I will say, Pokemon was over popular. Like you think, like you think it's bad now. Nothing beats at recess people fighting over a Charizard card or a Blastoise card or somebody so upset about something, walking up and just taking a Pokemon card and ripping it in half in front of somebody because they hated them or something. Yeah, Pokemon cards were over. Like people were fighting over them so badly that they got banned at not my high school, middle school. It wasn't like by the time we got to high school, nobody cared. By the time we got to high school, Pokemon cards would like they weren't like nobody was talking Pokemon. Anime was a thing. Like other animes we talked about, Pokemon was just like nothing. But like in the mid '90s or the late '90s, like the mid '90s, early 2000s. I think I meant like 2000, like 1999, 2000. Like yeah, they were. It was like yeah, these things are banned. You can't bring them to school anymore. I actually watched somebody take a Blastoise in front of somebody and just rip it in half because they were in an argument or something over it. Or like something. Uh, it was a thing. Eh? If it was on PS, I can tell you one thing. If it was on PS Plus, I would. I would. I would say. I'd be like, you know what? We'll get Power Wood instead of Blueprints, but you know, you gotta actually pay for that. Maybe one day if it pops up on PS Plus and not premium. No, we got blueprints coming. That's gonna be something. I also got the Prince of Persia one. Blueprints, like I watch people, it's like Blueprints to me feels like that is a stream game. You don't just sit there and play that if you're a content creator and just make videos out of it. Nah, you stream that. That's a streaming game. I gave up on Seven Deadly Sins because for the simple fact is that's a game that you need to have to dedicate a lot. And I don't have a PS5 myself. I don't. It's not my PS5. It's just downstairs, and I really only play it like once a week. So if I get to it, which I really haven't been playing because of the World Cup, I've been like, let's get a stream through on Sunday because we got World Cup action. We got like 2-3 games to play to watch on. So it's like, yeah. But Sunday is the finals, so I figured I can start that if I get 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, get started at 9 o'clock. That for a few hours. World Cup finals is at 3. So hour would be interesting. Wouldn't mind playing Power World. It looks like it'd be fun. the demon. I got stuff down here. 35 today. Wait, no. Oh, There we go. He's eaten like 5. Ugh. Flame sword. Ooh, it's getting interesting. Oh, my knee. That hurt. That's fun. Ready for it. Gotta set this up. Ready for the night. Cap for the up. Yes, he. there's a lot. Counted on this channel. In an episode. Until tomorrow. Come on, less than 5 encounters, please. Can I get it? Come on. I want to be done. I want to move on to the rat, which I'd still be here. That's the thing that sucks. Like, I would get the rat, put it back, put it. Saturday, I can get myself at toy pole. Hopefully, it can just pop up, and I don't have to take forever on it. Rat. That's not a rat that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a yellow rat, so green. Green. I guess it's green. I'm looking for a green rat. But to be honest, a lot of shinies, like green shinies, are not great. I think Poliwrath is one of the only good green shinies. Black of course good on I think everything that it is. Red. Nothing that. If we get up on time and everything and start at 11, or like like at when we're supposed to, we'd be here. That's gonna be all for this channel. I'll be back on the other channel in about 2-ish, yeah, about 2 hours. Until then, you all have a good one.